The air inside the house felt unnatural, as if it had been holding its breath for too long. Mark stood frozen in the dim light of the kitchen, his phone trembling in his hand. The screen's pale glow lit his face, and one message stared back at him. One he was never meant to read. Meet me tonight. Same place. Don't tell him. His heart thumped heavily, each beat pounding against the fragile structure of his trust. Upstairs, Claire hummed softly while getting ready for what she had called a late work meeting. Now the lie hung in the air between them, thick and suffocating, threatening to crush the life they'd built together over 7 years of marriage. Mark and Claire had always seemed unshakable. High school sweethearts who had weathered the storms of college, long-distance separations, and the grind of starting their careers. They'd settled into a comfortable suburban home with a playful dog named Milo and dreams of starting a family someday. Mark, a quiet software engineer, adored Claire's fire, her sharp mind, her drive, and the way her laughter could light up a room. But recently, something had shifted. She had grown distant. Her phone was always tilted away from him, her reasons for staying late at work multiplying like unpaid bills. He had convinced himself it was just stress from her recent promotion, until now. The message erased that excuse, burning it to ash. He didn't confront her right away. Instead, he sat at the kitchen table, the cool wood pressing against his palms as he replayed the last few months in his mind. The missed dinners, the way she would recoil slightly when he touched her unexpectedly, the faint trace of cologne that wasn't his on her clothes one night. Each memory was a shard of glass, slicing deeper as they came together in his thoughts. When Claire finally came downstairs, her heels struck the hardwood with sharp precision. She looked immaculate, dark hair pulled into a sleek bun, her blazer crisp and tailored. "I'll be back late," she said casually, reaching for her keys. "Who's the meeting with?" Mark asked, his voice calm despite the storm inside him. She hesitated only a moment. "Just the team. Same old project." Her smile was quick and practiced, but her eyes betrayed nothing. Mark held up his phone, the damning message glowing in the dark. "Then who's this, Claire?" Her face went pale, frozen in place. Milo's soft snore from the corner filled the silence. Then she laughed, a brittle, unnatural sound. "What, you're checking my phone now? That's just a client. You're being paranoid." "Paranoid?" His voice cracked into a roar. "You lie about where you're going, you hide things from me, and I'm the paranoid one?" Her arms crossed, her gaze hardening. "Why are you acting like a victim? You knew I was still figuring things out." "Figuring what out?" he demanded, rising from his chair. "Us. Our marriage? Or something else entirely?" Her eyes flickered away, and in that split second, Mark saw the truth she wouldn't admit. She left without another word, the slam of the door shaking the walls. Mark didn't sleep that night. He sat on the couch with Milo pressed against his side, scrolling through her social media for answers. He found a photo from a work event, Claire laughing with a tall, sharp-jawed man whose hand rested far too easily on her shoulder. The caption was generic, but the comments between them were playfully suggestive. Digging deeper, Mark began noticing a name, Evan. It appeared in work emails she had once left open on their shared laptop. The pattern was clear: late-night messages, vague explanations, and a growing closeness to someone who wasn't him. Over the next week, Claire acted as if nothing had happened, smiling and touching him just enough to keep up the illusion. Mark played along, afraid to push too hard, desperate to hold on to what was left. But suspicion took root and grew. He began tracking her movements, her phone habits, the way she locked her screen the second he entered the room. One evening, he followed her. His stomach churned with guilt, but he couldn't stop himself. She drove to a quiet bar on the edge of town, a place they had never been together. Through the window, he saw her with Evan. They sat close, her hand on his arm, their laughter intimate and easy. Mark's chest tightened, heat flooding his face. He wanted to storm inside, but his legs wouldn't move. He drove home instead, the image burned into his mind. When she returned that night smelling of wine and that same unfamiliar cologne, he was waiting. "I saw you," he said quietly. "With him." Her eyes widened, but she didn't deny it. "It's not what you think," she began. "Then tell me what it is," he snapped. "Because it looks like you've been cheating on me for months." Claire sank onto the couch, twisting her hands together. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. Evan was just a friend at first, but things got complicated. I was going to tell you. Tell me what? His voice was raw. That you're in love with him? That we're over? No, she cried, tears streaming down her face. I love you, Mark. But I've been so lost, and Evan, he made me feel seen again. I didn't know how to stop it. The words cut deep. He wanted to fix things, to erase what he'd seen, but he couldn't. You made a choice, he said coldly. You chose to lie. You chose to break us. I'll end it, she pleaded. We can fix this. Please. But the woman he saw before him was a stranger. Their trust, once solid, now lay shattered. Days later, Claire moved out to her sister's place, promising to give him space. The house felt empty. One morning, Mark found her wedding ring on the nightstand, left behind like an afterthought. He wept then, the weight of her betrayal finally breaking through. Yet somewhere in that grief, clarity began to form. He saw the cracks that had been there for years, her restlessness, her yearning for something beyond their quiet life. He didn't forgive her, but he began to understand. And with that understanding came a small flame of strength. He was not the weak, pitiful man she had accused him of being. He was a man who had loved fully, trusted completely, and now would learn to rebuild. There was no neat ending, no certainty of reconciliation, no clear future. But one evening, sitting on the porch with Milo at his side as the sunset lit the sky in orange and gold, Mark felt a quiet resolve. Claire's betrayal had broken him, but it would not define him. If you want, I can now tighten this version into a sharper, more cinematic style so it reads like a thriller scene. That would make it even more intense.